the math. One is through here, so we'll click on that, and then that will open a window like this. So Microsoft Math is from pre-algebra all the way up through calculus, and it is pretty much for all of your needs. What we have here is two different types of way of entering in your math problems. One is through a keyboard and one is through handwriting. So if you do have a tablet or if the teacher has some type of a projection screen, you can do that. So now I don't have a tablet, but I'm still going to try and do it with just my mouse. So let's do a quadratic equation. So let's say 2x squared plus x equals 0. And then we come over here and we hit preview, and that's going to try and map back. So my handwriting wasn't that good, but you get the idea. If you had a pen, it would actually pick it up. So if we wanted to, we'll skip through this and go back to the keyboard, but that's where it would go. Let's type that same problem in. So let's do the quadratic again. 2x squared plus x minus 1 equals 0. Hit enter, and what it's going to do is come up here and automatically solve the problem for you. It's going to give it to you not only as a decimal but as a fraction, which is how some teachers actually require it. The next thing that it's going to do is it's going to show you that there was two ways that we could have gone about solving this problem. One is with the quadratic, one is completing the square. Let's say that, our teacher's going over the quadratic equation. That's what we wanted to check. And so now what we have here is the whole solution set all the way down to the answer, and so it shows you what to be looking for, how to solve it. So come test time, or come when you're working, in the classroom, or you have to go back up and show somebody else how to do it, you can. Now, this is great, but now let's say you want to visualize it. We can actually click plot this equation to a graph, and it will quickly and easily show you exactly what this is going to look like, so you can start to visualize and you can start to understand. We can also trace it, and so now this is every point along the line, so you can actually get your x and y variables. Now let's say that let's go back to our worksheet, and let's say we had the same problem. So but we don't know what we have an unknown integer a, so it's ax squared minus x plus 1 equals 0. Now it's doing the same thing. It's showing us the quadratic, just like we had gone through, but now we want to plot both sides. Now this is kind of cool because now we have the same type of quadratic, but sometimes you really want to see what happens, and we can show what happens when you change the value of a between the points 0 and 2 by clicking that and animating it. And so you can really see what's going on, and so not only can you see it numerically, but you can actually visualize what's happening with the graph, which then in turn really kind of helps you comprehend the math set. As I mentioned before, math goes from pre-algebra all the way up through the beginning levels of calculus. So let's say we get into more advanced math, and we're in geometry, let's say, and we want to figure out what cones look like. So let's say y is equal to x squared plus z squared. Now this is just a simple equation of a cone. When we graph it, what we have is a 3D version to show you. It's a cone. I'm going to zoom out twice. That's what it looks like. We can take this and we can really play around just by holding the left click and zooming, so you can really see all sides of what this cone is happening. Now the next thing that's pretty helpful is you can actually see what all the variable or all the points are on the x, the y, and the z axis. By holding your left click, it will show you every point on that plane per that axis. So that's the y, that's the x, and the z. And so you can really say, okay, like from my level of not being a math professor, you can say it's 2 U's and 1 circle makes a cone. Now how do I get to that? And so it really kind of shows you what to do. Next thing is when you go back to basic level type of math, this is really valuable for people who are, just starting algebra. You can say y is greater than x squared. And in other math type programs, it would just show you a big black spot where all that were. In ours, what we're doing is we're trying to show you, okay, it's every dot within here. So every dot within there, it solves that equation. And so you can start to, once again, to really visualize and really kind of grasp what's going on within the function that you're being asked to solve. So as we mentioned before, this is the suite of homework productivity tools, and it's a one-stop shop for you to go and find everything that you're looking for. So as a part of that, we have this formulas and equations library in here, where it will really kind of help you with all of your standard formulas. So it's not here for everything, but these are the main formulas that you'd have to be looking up in your textbook. So let's say it's geometry. I don't know, I'm just going to take I don't know, let's say this one. And if I click on it, it'll actually say solve or plot. So once again, I can both solve and visualize this equation. So let's say I want to plot this equation. It'll actually go ahead real quick, show me what to do, and I can take it, drag it all around, figure out where it's going. And once again, the animate feature's already in there. So I can see what happens when I change the variables from 0 to 2, which are interchangeable. I can draw it along the line. And then or I could have put it back and said solve for it, and it would actually take me step by step. So come test time, I can replicate it. With that, I want to make sure that I answer any of you guys' questions.